Okay. I think we're back. Hopefully we are. Hopefully you all have the video attached to it. Well, that was a that was a major glitch, wasn't it?
Yeah, to say the least. But I'm reaching out and seeing if, yep, we're good.
All right.
Thanks,
all right.
Kroll.
Thanks, guys, for being patient with us. This is only our seventh podcast, eighth podcast. So, I mean, hell, we're still learning. Let's head over to our fun section, our supers and poopers. Take it away, Jarvis.
Yeah, favorite section of the day. So, this week's super for myself is actually a guy on my team.
Shocker.
And I had
that roster baiting thing again.
No. I kind of hesitated on picking someone for my team, but I felt it necessary to pick Mitchell Trubisky as my super for this week. And the reason I do, so this week he threw up 35.42 points. He was 26 of 50 for 333 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 6 rushes for 81 yards and a touchdown. So the guy can move on his feet. But the reason I picked him is for 2 reasons. One, he helped propel me to high point for the year, which I'm super happy about. But one of the things that I want to talk about with Mitchell Trubisky, and I want to bounce this off of you, is what he's done as of late. So when you look back at his week 4 performance, he had 43.46 points, which was the QB1 for the week. Mm-hmm. Week 5, he had a bye. Week 6, he had 29.34 points, which was good for QB5. And then this week, week 7, 35.42 points, which was actually QB1 again. So what do you make of this? Because, 3 of the last 4, well, actually his last 3 games, he finished top 5, and 2 of those 3, he finished the top 1 running or quarterback for the week. So my question to you is, and the reason why I use him as my super is like, is this an anomaly? Do you see this going forward? Like, obviously I don't see him being a quarterback 1, like in the top 5 quarterbacks for the rest of the year, but I mean, he's kind of doing it right now. So that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, these are dumpster fire defenses he's going up against. 32nd against the Bucks.
The Patriots aren't dumpster fire, though, really.
25th against the pass?
Yeah.
That's dumpster fire right there. And they have high-priced cornerbacks sitting there with Gilmore and I'm drawing a blank on the other guy that they brought in this year. That's not a good defense. 21st against a run even. That's going to set up the pass. Mm-hmm. I'm going to eat a little bit of crow on Trubisky because he's actually, produced this year. But, against the Dolphins the week before, 24th ranked defense. He struggled against a bad Cardinals defense. But,
yeah, that was surprising.
Mm-hmm. And he did okay. No, he didn't do okay the first week. He was saved by that rushing touchdown.
Is this year 2? Is this kind of his Jared Goff coming out party, do you think?
Well, look at the defenses that he's going to come up against. Yeah,
that's where the rubber meets the road. Is what's coming up, next week, or not next week, because this week I think he's got a really good matchup against the Jets, and he's at home, so I like that matchup. But then he goes to Buffalo, and Buffalo, whatever is happening whatever's happening on the offensive side in Buffalo. When you play the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, their defense shows up.
Agreed.
So that'll be interesting to see. But I just wanted to get your opinion on that because I know you've kind of been a Trubisky hater. But even I'm shocked as for these last couple of weeks. It's been crazy.
I'm not going to say about this week, but the next 3 out of the 4 weeks, or even against the Vikings, the Vikings have been banged up on their defense as well. So if he puts up 20 points per week from week 9 to week 12, maybe I'll be sold on him a little more. Where you're going to run into issues, though, Jarvis, is, week 15 against the Packers.
Yeah.
You get that great Niners matchup week 16. Well, if you make the playoffs, of course.
Yep. That's yep.
So that's going to be interesting to actually monitor. If he's just feasting on these garbage defenses, or if he's making decent defenses even worse with good play.
Yeah. So coming out this third consecutive monster game, I really had to put him in as my super.
And very well. I mean, you scored 249. I'll give you that. I'm not gonna tease you about roster baiting because well worth it. Well worth it. Mine is, and I didn't write. There he is. Okay, James White. He's my super. 11 for 40, but geez, 8 for 57 and 2 touchdowns on 10 targets. That's wide receiver 1 targets. Right
It absolutely is.
Julio Jones can't find the end zone, but James White can. Almost, he's found it 4 out of the last. Or wow, geez,
he's got 6 touchdowns through the air this year. And Julio has 0.
Yep.
I'm not comparing him, and we're not obviously comparing him to Julio, but the production is there, and it's there every single week.
And he's always that afterthought. How many times I say this way too often. Last thing I want is a Patriots running back on my team. Well,
this year could be different though.
Yeah.
This year could be the exception.
Exactly. Your pooper for the week?
So my pooper, Gary, my man, we talked about this a little bit at bowling. Matt Breida, my goodness. I get the fact that you want to be competitive, and I get the fact that you want to come out and you want to play in a game. Your energy levels, you're excited, you're amped up, you're ready to go, you want to help your team. If you're not healthy enough to play, by all means, do yourself and your team a favor. Sit out. It clearly showed that this week he was not healthy to come back.
No.
5 rushes, 15 yards. He actually lost a fumble, 1.5 points out of a guy that you're excited to play. You put him in there. Game script looks okay. Boom, right? You put him in.
Yep.
Forget about it. 1.5. So frustrating. And again, this is probably going back to just a year's long worth of frustration out of Gary and his running back crew with Jordan Howard there, Matt Breida there. Like, he's got to be banging his head against the wall. And he's doing the right stuff. He's making the right moves, but his guys just continually seem to let him down. This week, no exception. Matt Breida, get out of here with that performance.
Yeah,
go home, rest up, come back when you're healthy, help everybody out.
And my pooper, I'm going to throw it on my team here. I have to. LeSean McCoy having not a good year. 2 carries, 1 yard. Hurt. Done for the week. Excuse me. Concussion, not really, they're saying there that he was in the concussion protocol. I believe he also injured his ankle at the same time. So it didn't matter. 0.1, not going to win any championships that way. Not even going to win a week doing that.
This might have been the first week that I've seen McCoy get hurt and actually stay out of the game.
Yeah. Because, how many times does he, slow to get up, has to be helped off, but then he comes right back and then rushes 15 more times.
Yeah.
That.
It's crazy. But yeah, it's been a disappointing year to say the least for him.
Absolutely.
He needs to go down to some Florida team where those old folks go to retire. Spend some time in the sun, relax, enjoy your retirement.
Let's hop into this week's matchups.
Let's do it. We got some exciting matchups.
Let's get rid of last week's dumpster fire matchups where almost every game was a blowout. Let's get back into those close games. Let's get back into where these 6 playoff contenders. Okay, 5 playoff contenders because I don't want to see myself get taken down. But let's see some good, very close games, and you see that right off the bat here. 13-7. I have some players missing out of my lineup. I don't have a defense in there yet, and I don't have my kicker in there yet.
Wait a second. Hold on.
What?
You're telling us to submit the lineups, and you don't have your own lineup?
I just picked. Now look, I just picked up those players. See, there's the Browns.
Oh, you got them in tonight's waivers, didn't you?
Well, I didn't get my kicker. I got blocked on that, so I got to spend some quality time on Friday picking up a kicker. Apparently, $4 is not enough to pick up a kicker in this league. So, the first matchup against Luke, that's going to tighten up a lot once I actually get those in there. And
actually, right off the bat, if you go back up, let's look at Luke's lineup. Very first player, Andy Dalton. He's actually my start of the week this year. Yes.
Dun-dun-dun.
Andy Dalton is at home against the Bucks. Bucks are 29th versus the pass this year. He's following an absolute pooper of a game last week, 9.92 points. However, now this is something that we kind of forgot about Andy Dalton. At least I know I did. Last week against the Chiefs, what was it? It was a Monday night game. It was a primetime game.
Yep.
When was the last time you saw Andy Dalton show up for a primetime game? Like, never.
I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals are allowed to play on Monday nights, are they?
So this is not a primetime game. This is a noon kickoff game. And the Bengals themselves are ranked 30th versus the pass this year. This is going to be a shootout. Boom. Mark it down. Andy Dalton, big game this year. Rebounds from that horrible and pitiful performance against the Chiefs, against a Bucks team that is questionable to that pass.
And he's actually having
start of the week.
He's actually having a good year.
He's having a really good year.
You know, multiple touchdowns in almost every game except for 2. Yeah, he had the big 4 turnovers against the Panthers, which is a pretty big anomaly that week. This game also features my sleeper. Ooh, yes. I lied. It's not my sleeper.
Ooh.
It's my sit.
Oh, even worse.
It's my sit of the week. And he actually pulled TJ Yeldon out of his starting lineup versus the Eagles.
Oh, look at that.
He beat me to the punch, didn't he? And he tossed in Isaiah Crowell.
Well done, Luke. That's good team management.
And that is excellent team management. You know, Carlos Hyde is going to take away carries from Yeldon. And, you know, TJ Yeldon's had some pretty decent games. You know, he's catching the ball. He's getting some touchdowns thrown in. Not a lot of rushing. But, you know, still 17, 10, 26, 25, 15. Those are some doggone good numbers out of him. But now he takes a backseat to Carlos Hyde again. Now, Hyde can catch the ball as well.
Yeah, he can. He proved that in San Francisco.
And so, you know, Bortles is back. Does that really help out the running backs there? Probably not. So, and then I must have dropped Alfred Morris because I had a little note there on that he couldn't start. That he couldn't start Alfred Morris. So good move there, Luke.
And just a side note, my almost start of the week is still on Luke's team and Demaryius Thomas. Again, shootout coming between Denver and Kansas City. This very well could be Demaryius Thomas's last game as a Denver Bronco.
Did the Broncos get a new quarterback that I missed out on?
Stop it.
You knew that was coming, right?
All I'm saying is that, you know, Chiefs, you can pass on them. Could be the last game that Demaryius Thomas is a Denver Bronco. Could be heavily targeted. Send him out right. You know what I mean?
Yep, I gotcha. We have Gary and myself. Right now it's a close matchup. That'll probably be separated by 15 once I get my players in there. So, you know, get that kicker and the defense in there.
And Gary right now slated to start Blake Bortles. He doesn't have another option, unfortunately. No. Otherwise, I've got to say it, Mr. Blake Bortles. You are my sit of the week.
Boom.
This
boom,
week.
Boom.
Playing very poorly. Threw up an epic pooper last week against the Texans. 5.4 points. Got pulled. Not only that, Coach Marone came out this week and actually said Bortles is playing with a very short leash. That can't instill a lot of confidence in your starting quarterback, nor your offense in general. He starts making some mistakes against a very, for the most part, pretty stout Eagles defense on the road in Philadelphia. He very well could get pulled at any point in this game. I don't have a lot of optimism in Blake Bortles this week. All I have to say is, yikes.
He just doesn't have any options. I mean, he's got the bye weeks. He's got the injuries. You can't start Martavis Bryant. You know, they have why they have. See, this is why I hate that site. They have points next to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
and listed as doubtful. Come on, let's be
he's
realistic
out.
here.
He's out.
Yeah. So,
but I just want to quickly touch on one thing though with Gary's roster management by bringing up Kerryon Johnson. I think that was an absolute stellar move. It's what needed to be done. Kerryon Johnson's playing very, very well.
And there we go. We got Jarvis stealing my thunder on my start. There.
Oh, that's your start.
That's my start.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. Jarvis stole my thunder. So my start of the week was Kerryon Johnson. This is a kid that I've been high on all year. I really like him. He doesn't add a lot to the passing game. But he has early in the year. And Theo Riddick is out. So that's going to open up more targets for him. The Seahawks are 23rd against a run. Last week he put up 19 for 158 yards, 2 catches for 21. That's great production. And I know Gary doesn't really have many more options unless Breida does actually play. But I'd still sit Breida even if he does play and go with Kerryon Johnson. The tough part is still Jordan Howard there. We'll see how he continues.
If Breida's healthy and he comes out as healthy and they announce he's healthy, he's going up against a Cardinals defense that you can run on. So he may be flex worthy over Bortles. It's just kind of how risky do you want to do it, you know?
I mean, the Cardinals are the worst run defense in the league.
Exactly.
I would be conservative there. I would go Bortles.
If it were me, I would probably do the same. But if you're needing to make a splash, why not? It's tough. I know.
That's tough. That's really tough. I mean, that's where you look at the matchup, but then you also look at the quarterbacks score more points than running backs too. So, Gary against Mike. Now, this is a pretty huge matchup, and we're pretty close on points there too. That's division.
You mean Shannon versus Mike?
I'm sorry, Shannon. And Shannon will throw in, I guess, Chris Carson, it looks like.
Ooh, yeah.
Where they're getting 12 points out of Chris Carson, that's kind of beyond me. It's because they have Mike Davis there as well. But, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. So Mike will gain some points, probably not a lot. Well, they say 12. I say phooey on them. But he doesn't have Devontae Adams in his lineup either. Who do you sit for Devontae Adams here? Do you sit Galladay? Or Godwin?
I would sit. That's tough. I would sit either. I'd probably sit Galladay. I don't want to start 2 guys on the same team if I don't have to. Galladay would probably get the bump if it were me, but I could be wrong. But I don't feel comfortable in a matchup like this to where I want to roll out 2 guys on the same team.
Agreed. Completely agree. Now we got here's another big matchup. You know, Mike on his winning streak.
This is going to be a fun one to watch.
You know, only a couple of games behind Kroll here. This is really huge getting back into the division. Kroll's a team that at times looks totally unstoppable, and then other times it kind of disappears a little bit.
Those Achilles heels got to be Gronk, don't you think?
Well, he started them last week. Didn't hurt him though.
What you're going to have to do is scroll down a little bit to Kroll. All right, so now so Vance McDonald. Now this is my question to you. So Gronk is still kind of questionable to play in this matchup. The issue that we have is that Gronk is a Monday night game. That's terrible news for Kroll.
Yeah.
That is terrible news for Kroll, because if he passes and he takes a chance on playing Gronk this week, and Vance's game already happens, and he gets, he can't play Vance, and then here comes Monday night, and Gronk is like, you know what? Actually, back's not holding up. I'm sitting out. They sit him. Gronk now takes a gooser at the tight end position.
That's tough to do.
It's extremely
tough to do with a team that's just won 4 or 5 in a row.
Yeah. Now, if Gronk was playing, Sunday at like noon or at 3, well, then that's one other thing. But the fact that he's playing Monday night, you really have to be confident in his ability to play Monday night.
Agreed.
Otherwise, if it were me, right now, I would recommend maybe entertaining the fact of starting Vance McDonald. Vanceman's getting it done.
Yeah, I mean he's
for sure going to be playing. Take that, get those surefire points. Now Monday night, if Gronk plays and he gets 30 points, that absolutely can happen. 6:00 Monday night, they rule Gronk out. That absolutely can happen.
And the problem is, you either have to have a spot. Well, it doesn't do you any good. By then, unless you pick up
Charles Clay,
yeah, but you have to make a roster spot to do that, and that's not easy to do.
It's a conundrum, and this is a big matchup, so
it is.
It's a big decision that's coming down.
I don't know who I'm reading for there. No idea.
They're both in your division, so
that's too tough to root
if
for. If
both of them could win, I would love it.
Now we have you up against Gary here.
Gary's made some good moves.
Yes, he definitely has.
You got that sneaky start in Danny Amendola.
He threw Amendola in there. He's got my boy Kelvin Benjamin, but I don't know if he's got many.
Derek Anderson's supposed to start again this week, right?
Yes.
Yep. So we'll see how that goes.
So, then we go to Shannon again and Will.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. We have Stephen Kegley in the house.
Welcome, Stephen.
You got to at least say that a little louder. Well, have a seat. Enjoy the rest of the show. Or shit, hand him a headset. We'll do that.
Oh, we better say that one for later.
No? Okay.
He's going to sit this one out.
All righty. So now we get into Shannon and Will. And Shannon's on a pretty good streak right now, but Will's just so hot, and his team is fully loaded and back from bye weeks. And he just keeps plodding along with Jalen Richard.
I was just going to point out the fact that he's got Jalen Richard right there.
Look at that.
Coming in and going up against the Colts defense. He's going to be the guy this week.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch goes AR. But they actually did say, like Gruden came out and said Doug Martin is the guy.
But Martin's not going to get any catches.
No, he's not. The muscle hamster himself.
No, the muscle hamster. The guy that cries about being called the muscle hamster. So that's going to be an interesting matchup as well. JJ and Will. We should just skip JJ if he's not going to put in a guy here. Let's just get out of here, JJ.
It's harsh.
Luke and Darky. Darky would really like a win here against Luke to get him a little closer.
Look at that matchup. with Luke having Andy Dalton going against Jameis Winston. Both of those teams are ranked 30th and 31st against the pass, or whatever it was, the 28th, 29th. They're very, very low ranked against the pass. Both of those guys, Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, poised to have big games this week. Isaiah Crowell, only guy in town basically other than Trenton Cannon, at the running back position.
I think Isaiah was McGuire coming back this week, or are they going to hold him out another week for the Jets?
I haven't heard anything about it
because he was on the PUP list, so I knew he was eligible. But maybe I saw him practicing.
When I saw it was going to be Isaiah Crowell and then Trenton Cannon.
Okay.
And again, I like the fact that Demaryius Thomas could have a bomb-ass week this week. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be tough. I like that matchup as well. That'll be a fun one to watch.
That will be a fun one. Oh, and now that we have Steph in here, we can go over his and Darky's matchup.
Yeah, Darky and Stephen.
Oh, 162 to 156 within a touchdown.
Stephen's going to score 210 points this week, and 195 of those are going to come from Saquon Barkley and Todd Gurley. That was a joke.
Is Doug Baldwin going to get on track this week?
He's got to. At some point this year, he's got to. Jordy Nelson takes a step up.
Top wide receiver in Oakland. Yep. And Stephen's beloved team there.
Golden Tate, you ask me out of that trio, out of Detroit, who I want, Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, Kenny Golladay, I would probably go Golden Tate. So I like this matchup as well. Eric Ebron playing very, very well.
Now, this comes to, let's see, I think I got something on this one, if I remember right. Maybe not. And, of course, my tablet is just a piece of crap. Sorry for more technical difficulties. Does it surprise anybody right now? Yeah, here's my sleeper here is getting Deshaun Jackson out of the lineup and putting in Willie Snead. I'm not a big Deshaun Jackson fan, but Willie Snead, 7, 10, 7, 7, 5, 8. Good targets. Yeah, he didn't do much with his targets last week. But Deshaun Jackson is just so unreliable from week to week to week. He started out the season big. But, the only reason why he had any kind of a week last week because he had a rushing touchdown. Otherwise, he would have been a little over 5 points.
Well, and also he's kind of like Cameron Brate in that offense. He's kind of quarterback dependent, don't you think? Like he had those blow-up games when Fitzpatrick was in the offense.
So
when he was leading the team.
So what do you think? Do you go with Deshaun Jackson in there? Do you go with Willie Snead?
I'm going to chase the targets. I'm going to go Willie Snead. I'm with you.
Okay. All right. So I'm not as crazy as some would think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I am. Now we get to Stefan and Corn Ranch. Stefan, you going to win this one? Stefan's.
He says absolutely 110%. Tori ain't got nothing on me.
Nothing.
Probably all depends on David Johnson.
David Johnson. Oh, I don't know if you want to depend on David Johnson here.
I depend on him to have a shitty game.
Against a team that can absolutely be burnt through the run.
Yeah, with the Niners, well, they're 13th against the run. That isn't atrocious. But 162, that seems pretty doggone low for Stefan there. Does Stefan throw in? Does he throw in Brock Osweiler over David Carr? Derek Carr? Whichever Carr?
Not against the Colts. I don't think against the Colts. I don't think he can. But my goodness, the fact that we're even asking that question and have to think about it says a lot right now.
But, he just used what? How much did you use for flex? 900? Can't let that flex sit on the bench, can you? Well, whatever you spent.
Yeah.
Flip's the only one who went nuts.
Yeah, I'm the only one that went nuts. Here's Eli Manning riding the pine again, as he should.
He should. That guy, I feel so bad for him. He's He's at the tail end of his career. We had a big conversation about this Monday night at bowling. Like, I really think Eli Manning's a good quarterback. I just think that he's nearing the end of his career. He can't get out of the pocket. He just has a revolving door of linemen up there that just let people through at will. He doesn't get any time. The guy can't throw it deep anymore because he has 0.02 seconds to throw. You have to put Eli Manning on the bench. You just have to.
I think Manning is one of the most overrated quarterbacks ever. This is a guy who he'll throw those picks early in the first half and bury his team, and then gets all that garbage time in the second half to make his stats look decent.
Doesn't he have a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think he does. Where he overthrew
or two.
Well, he overthrew Tyree, and Tyree made a fantastic catch that one Super Bowl, and I don't even. Does anybody even remember the other one? So, Jarvis now against JJ. We're gonna skip that one because JJ won't turn in a lineup.
No. We got to go back to that one. We got to go back to that one because a sleeper is in that lineup of JJ's.
All right.
My sleeper of the week, Adrian Peterson, going up against the Jets in New York. Chris Thompson, I don't know his health status. I thought earlier today it sounded like he may be trending to be out of this game. So it's still kind of up in the air. Chris Thompson potentially could be out. If he is, that could just mean all that much more workload for Adrian Peterson. Last week, he had 24 attempts. The guy's getting a ton of work. Going up against the New York Giants defense that's ranked 23rd against the rush. They just traded their defensive tackle, Damon Snacks Harrison, to the Lions. So they're just that much more susceptible to the run up the middle, which is a lot. Now Adrian Peterson makes a lot of his hay up there. Could run on him before, and hey, you know what? With the loss of Snacks Harrison, it only increases his chance for AP to have another pretty solid day today. Look for Adrian Peterson to be sleeper this week.
That's a very solid choice there. I agree. Now, JJ, get a damn player in there. I want to see you come and knock down Jarvis, knock him out of the division there, or maybe both those guys lose their games this week. Tighten up that division a little more.
No, don't do that.
So, well, sorry for the technical difficulties this week. We're new. Gotta give us a little bit of leeway.
But hey, I appreciate reaching out, Kroll, and letting us know that we had those issues and helping us fix that. So
yeah, thanks a lot, Kroll. We do appreciate that. So, alrighty. Well, since Stefan showed up, we are going to go down to the Dome and have some cocktails. If any of you want to come and join, I believe Stefan is buying. Is that what he said, Jarvis?
Yeah. Open tab.
Okay. So, yeah. So, alrighty. Well, we will catch you guys next Wednesday, and hopefully we will have some fantastic fantasy football to chatter about next week again. So, until next week, thanks for listening to Intentional Streaming, and make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and that
bell.
Alrighty.